We'll close out the episode. Like I said, it's going to be a short episode, probably maybe even less than a half hour. We'll close it out on this note from friend of the show, Corey Allen, over at the University of Findlay. This is, let's start with the context of the tweet here. Let's click in on this image and read what this has to say. This is a quote from Mike Jerrell from University of Findlay, now currently at the Seahawks minicamp. He was the only draft selection out of Division II, and the Seahawks took him in the 6th round. He says here, quote, "They believed in me, and they believed in me from the start, and I couldn't see myself leaving to go to another team. And they get the credit for what my coach and the University of Findlay helped build, and I want to stay there and give them the credit." They were asking about, obviously his school and his upbringing through there. He goes on and says, "And it means everything to me to see Mike Jerrell, University of Findlay, on the screen rather than another school." So in a day and age where obviously Mike had opportunities to go up and play at larger schools, and he certainly would not blame him if he took those opportunities, because you got to look out for yourself and do the thing that's best for you. But he chose to stay at Findlay and to ride that out and to put together some solid years with the Oilers and still ultimately reach his end goal of playing in the National Football League, at least getting a chance in the National Football League. Shit, he was a draft pick, the only draft pick in Division II. And so for him to say all of this and have it pan out in that way is incredible, and I'm super happy and proud of him, man. But the tweet here from Bob, and Bob in no way is a bad guy, by the way, he's just the one saying this. You can see the tweet here, though, says, "Mike Jerrell said he got approached by a few D1 schools to leave Division II University of Findlay, but wanted to stay because the school had believed in him from the start." And Corey Allen comes on Twitter and says, "Hey, to be clear, Mike Jerrell was never, capital never, in the portal, not for one day." Weird. Why would schools approach someone who's not in the portal? With the shrug, hashtag Sunday Fun Day. Coach said, "I got time today. I got time today." He's going to let him hear it. Mike was never in the portal, yet now we're finding out that Mike was being approached by Division I teams to go and play for them. And you know what? I would be naive if I said I knew this. I'd be naive if I said I didn't know this happened in college football. This happens. There are people who are in between people to not violate rules. It might be some kind of trainer or somebody back home that speaks on your behalf to different schools as to kind of jump through loopholes in communication of the NCAA bylaws and other regulations. But man, that feels slimy. That feels really slimy. If somebody enters the portal and is leaving their school, whether they plan on leaving or whether they just plan on testing the waters to see if they can get one of those other opportunities, at the next level, that's totally another thing. They're putting themselves in that situation, receiving and fielding those offers, and then doing with that what they choose. In Mike's situation, he was committed, loyal to Findlay, and didn't even test the waters. Not only was he not trying to leave, he didn't even go. We've seen guys at the D2 level test the waters, see if they get the D1 interest that they want, and if that doesn't pan out, they go back to the original school, which again, their decision. I'm not judging anyone here. But that didn't even happen, and Mike's got D1 suitors coming his way trying to poach him and bring him up to D1. And so that brings up the conversation of, people have speculated about it in the past, man. Is Division II and Division III, more so Division II, obviously, becoming the JUCO system for these D1 schools? And everything in me wants to say absolutely not. That's fundamentally not how this is going to work, and that's not the way we've seen it work. But you see things like this, especially for guys who are as successful and have the physical, tangible attributes that Mike has at the Division II level. And those are the guys that are going to get poached, right? You're not going to get guys poached that aren't playing meaningful snaps and aren't making big-time contributions at the D2 level. But for guys like Mike that not only have the film, but also have the size, the stats, the measurables to go play at the next level, I don't even know how the NCAA approaches that, though. Like, how can you manage that, especially if they're going through an in-between man? And I'm not saying this is even Mike doing this. Like, this is just something that I'm sure, someone contacted a person who was close to him, and they're speaking on their behalf, trying to get him to maybe enter the portal or see where it gauges interest on moving up to a different level. So that's my food for thought for the day. I hope this really is not the route and the avenue we go down as far as Division II sports becoming a kind of a JUCO and just picking the best and kind of ruining the product of this lower level football. But I think for now we're safe. There's a lot of guys out there, and more importantly, there still are a lot of coaches out there that are loyal to their programs and would do a lot for the guys that they call their players at those schools. There's a lot of great relationships and other things that are built in college football. I don't think we're nearly there yet. Don't need to, walk yourself off the cliff. I think there's still a lot of great things going on in small school football. Coach Corey Allen, Mike Jerrell, those guys at Findlay are just a small part of that. So